Hello.
Hi.
Hello. So we are SC Entertainment. We've been around for many years, just in the city, making movies, making music, making art, doing tons of different things. I've got a video that we're going to show you. Kind of shows the history of what we've been up to since me and this guy were kids, basically, and we're anything but professional, but we have a lot of fun, and hopefully we will show you something that will inspire you to make everything you'd ever want to make in your lives come true. Thank you very much, and you can just check out the movie. It's like 22 minutes long. It mostly comes from a documentary that was made 5 years ago for our 25th anniversary. So it's kind of cut down. The documentary's like we've been around a long time, right? So the documentary from 5 years ago was like 3 hours long. So I cut it down to about 20 minutes. Hopefully you'll get the gist of what we've been through up until this point in our lives. And yeah, go ahead. And apparently the sound's maybe the greatest, so listen carefully. Thank you.
Too many of us refuse to face reality. Too many of us try to escape our duties and identities, our faces and our families. But all these things remain. All the realities remain whenever we leave our dreams and return to the real world.
SC Entertainment is a company that me and Terry started, I guess, sort of when we were kids. 1983 was the year, and we were making comic books
on my front step,
on Terry's front step of his house, and we decided that we wanted like a name, like Marvel or DC or something, so we called ourselves Super Cool Comics.
Super Cool Comics.
Yeah, we're obsessed. I was sickly, obsessively mean to everybody about making comics, and I think
he was the great dictator of SC land.
Yeah, I would force people to come into my basement and draw comics. Like a year after Super Cool started, we started Super Cool Music, SC Music. The summer after grade 6, my brother Leif, he rented a camera from Granada because he was making some movies of his own, and so we would make our own films during the day while Leif was at work.
He couldn't have killed them! He's dead!
And we made some doozies.
Who are you? I am the real nerdle of the shift.
And we made about 100 movies that summer. And
WrestleMania SC3. That's all we did all day from like 10 in the morning to like 1 in the morning was like make movies. Like if we weren't making our own, we were like helping Leif make my school. Was it 5 and 6?
Yeah. And so it was quite the summer. After grade 7, we did the EO stuff. We were still sort of making comics, not so much.
Yeah.
But and we were making EO albums throughout grade 7 and 8. But grade 9 is sort of when it sort of took off again.
Just exploded. We exploded on the scene.
And we made Halloween Horror with some. That was the first real sort of movie, I think, that we made with,
real credits. I mean,
it had credits. It had background music.
It had a story.
It had a story.
Sort of.
It had different scenes in it there. We had tons of people came out to act in it. I'm saying that's the fact. I think the fact that we made Halloween Horror and we made it so good, but good for 14-year-old kids standards, was what propelled us to continue to want to make movies like that.
Yeah.
Like actual end products that we could show people.
We could do it.
Yeah, so we played that first show in Terry's basement, and that became sort of the standard for what we were going to do for the next decade.
Yeah.
Also, did not stop with the movie making.
No, we were making movies.
We started with the Bobo series, which took up the next 10 years of our life.
Which was like, on like the scale of things that we had done, like making a Bobo movie was crazy because it wasn't just like in Blaise's backyard. It was like Paul would like drive us to Kananaskis to like film in the abandoned house, and we'd like have all these different locations, and like it was crazy. It was like, and we actually had like times when we were gonna like meet up and like
we got organized.
Yeah, it was almost like, you know, we knew what we were doing.
Almost. It was, yeah.
It was like on a more grand scale than any movie we'd ever made before.
Making films back in those days with Blaise and Terry and Scott and everybody, you know, it was awesome. It was so much fun. You know, that's all we would do is just run around with the camera after school, you know, in between school, even during school. You know, it didn't matter.
The movies just got better and better as it progressed.
I've had so much fake rancid blood in my mouth for so many death scenes. I kind of miss getting murdered on film, really.
Okay, rip it off.
We made like sounds that no person should make, and it was good. We played a lot of shows in my dad's garage, and Paul would do all the lighting and like staple sheets to the roof, and a lot of tape was involved.
I think around that era was like this last to bed we had.
Yeah.
At your house in that basement.
Yeah, that was the.
And we were like, weren't we like listening to like a lot of Black Sabbath at the time and stuff. Like,
that'll mess you up, man. Not sleeping, listening to Black Sabbath.
And then that whole era, there was like the Gypsy Woman and To Bed and Encounter at Farpoint, and like just so many things were going on, like
things you could never possibly ever understand.
That's heavy duty.
We had all these different scripts, and we started filming like
I like that.
A bunch of different times, right? We had different
Blaise's
stories.
Bricks.
Blaise's Bricks. That I was living in Bowness. It was
The Bobo
crazy.
Baboon Boy.
Bobo Baboon Boy.
Wow.
Last is complete. The ultimate solution for the ultimate problem. I can't really remember why, but we thought it'd be a really good idea if we started smashing television sets. Mostly because we hate them, I guess.
So that was like the 90s, man. And yeah, and so around 98, it all sort of ended, that whole thing.
Yeah. It was dark times.
Dark times, and that, you know. First movie I actually made a soundtrack for was... we used D. Speen for the soundtrack of The Zipper Within.
Nice.
and the Shirtless Hill. We were making all these weird little short movies at this point. You know, like the end of Die Speen and the start of Fuck a Egg Machine. We were making all these weird short movies.
Yeah, that's when you lived in Bankview.
It's crazy.
Like Shirtless Hill and stuff.
Oh. And so I decided to make an ambitious project. This is the story of my life. I make these ridiculously ambitious projects with like $5 to spare.
I've seen it.
And
I've seen it happen.
but we can do it with like $5 and some plastic.
Like 12 friends.
Yeah, and it's cool. So I decided that I wanted to make a movie, and I made Cindy May and the Color of Blue.
But I think the first thing that really blew my brain of what's possible to make with no money, just people, was Cindy May and the Color of Blue.
We were still editing like on 2 VCRs and a patch cord back then. Still, it was like 2002, but you know, we hadn't caught up with the future at that point.
We still haven't.
No.
A little while after that, we started making more music. But it was different, so we called it Death Ray Gun.
Probably one of the highlights of Fuck a Egg Machine was when I played at the planetarium, the Science Center. That was really cool. That was for the tragedy of Mary Kettle. So, but then we had this triumphant comeback show for the Bloody Something. And that was, again, one of the highlights, I think, of SC history was the Bloody Something show at the Orpheus Theater. You know, because we started using computers at that point, so I had all this technology I could use, green screens and special effects.
Animatronic beavers.
Animatronic beavers. And again, Chincom Beefheart, we're in it. It's about a guy from another dimension who has to eat human flesh in order to get back home, and then he's on the Beefheart and Chink are on his trail, and never turned into pictures.
Oh, okay. We're in the fucking theater again. That's awesome. There are so many people who are like, your friend made a movie? That is so cool. And they're playing it at the theater? They were like, I wish my friends were that awesome. I'm like, I know my friends are better than yours. I can't help it.
After that, I made the Space Cow animated series, which is one of the greatest achievements ever. I love that. And, you know, it goes full circle, man. It's like Space Cow was like one of the first things I ever did with SC, with the comic books, and then, you know, now I'm making animated series out of it, and it's really cool.
And I think Blaise was just exploding more and more and more. The amount of effort and the things he can convince people to do when he's making things like Out of State and Space Cow, and then Space Station Zero. And it's pretty hard when your friend has built a space station in his basement and convinced his friends to play an alien and to dance around and make rockets, and it's pretty hard to be able to give up on anything and to not follow anything through with your convictions. And it's just ridiculous and brilliant. And how can you ever see the world as anything other than brilliant if you've got something like that?
And then I thought it would be the best, since I'm an old man, right?
Yeah. You definitely are an old man.
I'm a family man, and I've got children and stuff. I thought the best thing for me to do would be to make a children's show. Here I am on Space Station Zero once again. It had to take place in outer space.
Outer
space. Thank you. And it's a combination of like all the things I saw when I was a kid. It's like
Hilarious House of Frightenstein, but in space.
And it took up my entire year You know, it took 2 days to film it.
That's always the case.
I know, it took us 2 days to film all the episodes, but it took me the entire year to complete them all. It was 10 episodes, like half an hour long each. It's like crazy.
Amazing. Amazing job.
300 minutes of Space Station Zero or something. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like insane, and it's amazing and beautiful. He's in love with pies.
Pies, hot dog pie, hot dog pie.
Okay, and so after I made Space Station Zero, I wanted to make the scariest movie ever made. And I think it's pretty scary. It took me like a long time. It was me and Elaine writing it, and like from a story that I sort of came up with. And Zebra for Sally was a huge movie, like out of state. Only I think it's better. It's more me.
Fantastically unbelievable the fact that there's so many people get so much bizarre talents and convinced to do this and get a chance to do this stuff for no money and for no pressure and for no reason other than just because it's brilliant.
I almost died on set.
Yeah. Oh my god. I poured pudding all over his face. He couldn't breathe.
We'd forgotten that if we covered my mouth and nose that I wouldn't be able to breathe, which was the case.
You know, and it's stuff like that that sort of is the whole reason behind SC Entertainment.
Almost like pushing your friends to the brink of death and then bringing them back.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
I heard a rumor about a man named Dr. Ribs.
Quickly, Laura, make some tinfoil hats.
If this werewolf is preparing itself for an alien invasion by making tinfoil hats and killing cattle and eating babies, then I think the worst is yet to come.
We got a nasty murder on our hands, and quite frankly, everyone down here is stumped.
I build caves, all kinds of caves. I'm a genius with caves.
And I will use all my powers of thinking to help you.
And I am, and always have been, your secretary.
Beefheart. These are my 3 wives.
Sometimes he even calls me Beefheart.
Yum!
Delicious. Would anybody else care for some beans? Slimbot brand beans.
Oh wow! Let me try some!
They're delicious! Slimbot brand beans. If they're good enough for hobos, they're good enough for Leroy the Buffalo Man.
There's evil in this world, Mosquito. Like the evil that took away your past. Some of it makes sense. Some has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Sometimes you can get to the root of it, pull it out, and understand how it grows. But sometimes evil is just evil.
Every man, woman, and child will be flogged into an alternate reality, and every one of them will be my slave!
I don't think you should keep going to a place that doesn't even seem to exist.
Beefheart and Chingar, those meddling fools!
That chief, he's an old chiseler.
This machine is my greatest invention!
Why am I so immune? There's nothing we can do.
I can feel the power coursing through my body.
Nothing's impossible.
By guys, you mean those bumbling fools Beefheart and Chinko?
They aren't fools, sir. I know what they say in the papers, but it's not true.
Why don't you call your boyfriend Rolf to see if he can come help us?
He's not my boyfriend.
Yeah, whatever.
This blood came in some 20 years ago. Some bloke called Rolf Thompson.
Has anything strange been going on around here?
What kind of strange things are you talking about?
Flying cheese, flagrant dog.
Oh, Christ. What is it now? This is the weapon.
You know,
and we just really didn't care who, like, you know, who liked it or whatever. We just did it.
We have no choice in the matter. We're not getting paid. I'm putting tons of my own money into it.
We've never made $1.
Not a dollar.
Anything we've done.
And we will continue to do it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, like, you've got no choice, people. It's been quite a lifetime of creativity and, like, craziness. Like, not even the things that, like, not even the stuff we've done that we have, like, physical evidence. We're just, like, hanging out in, like, assorted basements and, like, laundry rooms and, like, you know, it was just all good times. All good times. And the friends that we've made.
Tons of people.
Amazing. It's like when you think about it, we're 32 years old. SC's 25 years old.
Yeah.
It's like we were like 7 when we made this shit. It's crazy.
It's our whole life. This is what we have done. So you can't call it a hobby. Even though we don't make any money.
Obsession.
It's an obsession.
Thank you so was clearly mad. And I am Blaise Klodejuk. You may have met me from the film you just watched. I kind of lead this strange group of people, and whoever decides to join us to make all the things that come out of my mind and everybody else's mind that I know, you know, we're up for anything pretty much. And this is my friend Terrence.
I just realized that I was wearing the same shirt in those interview segments 5 years ago that I'm wearing now. So it's a treat for everyone. I'm wearing my interview shirt.
All right, and right here is Elaine Boiling.
Okay, so I have been involved in Essie. Actually, that film was made 5 years ago. So Essie's a month older than me, and I'm 30 in September. So yeah, I've been doing stuff with Essie since I was 16. The best thing to me about Essie was that was the point in my life when my friends were starting to choose careers, and they were all becoming doctors or teachers or whatever, and they were sticking with that. And as creative as they had been, they gave up. They didn't need to do the creative stuff anymore because they had a job now and they had a purpose in their life. They didn't need to do that stuff. To me, the greatest thing I've done in my life, I've done music, I've done films, I've done plays, I've done all kinds of things. And there's great things about doing all those things. But to me, the main thing is people making stuff. If you have an idea, feeling like you can make it, not feeling like there's hurdles. And to me, the best thing, we've been to the Comic Expo a few times. We've had a booth. And the best thing has been people coming up to us and saying, you know, I work in video editing. I do this for a living. I edit videos for other people, but I don't make my own stuff. And you do that. You know, I might as well do, why am I not doing this? And kind of sending their friends over who are bored in their jobs and saying, you know, you can do stuff. If you want to make stuff, make stuff. And, or as well, like kids coming up and saying, you know, I've got this idea for a stop motion animation, can I do it? And you know, you say, so what have you got? Have you got a laptop? Have you got Movie Maker or whatever? If you've got that and a camera, yeah, you can do it. Part of it is just about figuring it out. Anyway, that's why I'm here.
She's coherent. Next to her is Emmelia.
So,
I think you just turned it on. You just turned it off.
Awesome. So I met Blaise and Elaine at the Comic Expo a couple of years ago. It was the first year I came. And after that, we kind of became friends, and I started acting in their films. And I go to art school, but there's a distinct separation between the kind of stuff like SE Entertainment makes and stuff I want to make and what art is. So having this outlet and being part of this world is just pretty cool.
And next to young Emmelia is Jeffrey.
Yep. Yeah, I met all of them at the same time that she did, about 3 or so years ago. And yeah, I'd come to the convention a bunch of times before, and yeah, when I met them, we just all hit it off, and I just hung out with them the entire time that that I was at the convention. We just met, and then since then, we've lived in different provinces, and it's only been until this last fall that I've actually started to make movies and stuff with them, but it's just been fantastic, and they're cool people who make cool movies. And it's really great to be able to, be around people who, because I know a lot of people who say like, I really want to make this movie and it'd be really cool, and I'm writing all this stuff, and then a couple years later it just never happens. And it's really cool to be around people where they're like, yeah, I want to make a movie, and they actually go out and do it, regardless of whether they have money or whether they have time. They just find a way and they make it possible, which is really cool.
Yeah, I would say time and time again, since I've become older, like grown up, I don't know how old grown up people are, but since I became that age of people, I have seen, like she said, so many people have great ideas and say, oh, but I need money to do it, and then it never gets done. And I think people forget just how important it is, just the process of making something a reality, regardless of, if it's going to be in the theaters or if we're going to, sell DVDs or anything like that. That's like, as far as life experience and having a rewarding life, that's kind of secondary to actually making your dreams come true, like your literal adventure fantasy dreams become a reality that you can share with your friends, And I've seen, since YouTube became a reality in the universe, would you like to discuss YouTube?
Me?
Yes.
Oh, sure. I think my opinion on YouTube is great, and also just digital, like high definition cameras are relatively cheap. The equipment is easy to get access to. There's so much stuff, like it's been said plenty of times. There's so much access for people to make their own things that it's getting hard to find things. So there's good sides to YouTube and people being able to produce whatever they want to make. And then there's the downside of is it kind of dissipating the talent? Is it letting people put out stuff that's not to the professional quality, basically? I think the issue that I see it with SE Entertainment is that having access, or for example, if you want to make something, knowing that the information on how to do it is out on the internet, is not necessarily the point. Like, the big part of the point is that your idea, no matter what, if you focus on the idea, it's your idea, it's going to be something different to anything anyone else has ever come up with. And if you follow through the original part of it, the part that's yours, you can make something astonishing. But at the same time, it's not just about doing it, it's about figuring out your way of doing it. So if you want to make, say, a stop motion animation, there's tons and tons of DVDs or just various, info sheets on the internet on how to do it, and that's great. But at the same time, you could figure out how to do it. You can figure out your own way of doing it. And I think that's the thing with SC. It's been going for so long. It's been going since before there was kind of general access to, like everybody has a camera in your pocket, like phones can do that. But this is before that. This is about taking the technology that now everybody has access to and doing what you do with it. Not just what everybody else does with it, but like what you personally can do with it. And I think that's what I find exciting about SC. It's the joy that you get from that process of actually figuring out how to do something rather than just kind of following along.
That's kind of what I don't know, in the video I was talking about a movie I made called A Zebra for Sally. And before that I made a movie called Out of State. And it was right after, like I went to film school for a couple of years. And I graduated from film school, I'm like, oh, I know everything about making movies, but certainly I wouldn't suggest, if you're anything like me, which I hope you're slightly like me, I'm alright. I'm an alright guy. No, but I don't know, I learned a lot of stuff at film school. I certainly didn't learn how to get a job that would be satisfying to my brain. But I made a movie called Out of State, using all this information I learned and how to write scripts and and it turned out great. It's a great movie, but it's like, come to think of it, that's like probably the most popular movie I ever made. But I wasn't terribly satisfied with it. After that I made A Zebra for Sally, and I didn't care about anything like to do with that. I said, I'm going to make a movie, I'm going to make it look the way I want it to look, I'm going to make it as strange as I want, I'm going to make it as confusing as I possibly can, I'm going to make it hard to watch, because these are things that I enjoy of life. And I made it, and you can imagine which movie I watch more. It's Super Bizarre, obviously. And so it's a more satisfying chapter of my life, was making A Zebra for Sally than Out of State. I think, do you want to say anything else? Terry Ramsey, everybody.
Like Blaise, he does the editing and all the post-production stuff, like, but he'll send me an idea, he'll send me a script or tell me about an idea, and I'll read it and I'll be like, there is no way we're going to be able to pull this scene off, or like, what are we going to do here? But you know, he does it, and I don't like to watch anything before he's finished the full film, because I want to like have the same reaction as somebody who didn't work on it. Like, I want to see everything completed, and it blows my mind like how far he's come, and just with the way technology is now, like what he can achieve. It's pretty amazing.
Like when we were doing his last movie, World of the Uncanny, it was really funny because when we were shooting all these various scenes, like the general consensus was everybody was really confused about what the movie could possibly be about, and like there's no way all of this can connect together in a coherent way. And then when we all watched it at his house when it was finished, it was crazy because it all fit together, even though we all thought it was impossible.
I would say that is kind of the key to everything that we've ever done, is putting months of effort into organization, because we are actually poor. Like we don't have like any money at all. If you came here to find out how to get money to make movies, we're not the people to ask. I did a crowdsourcing fundraising thing for my last movie. I made $900, which was like me being over the moon, ecstatic with, I can make a goat man. I can make a goat man. I'm so excited, But lots and lots of effort put into making sure, when things are where they're going to be. Every single aspect of every little scene is written down beforehand, and then you can search your house and find all the things you can, for each little part, so you don't have to go out and spend money to buy it. Or, you're making sets. You beg and you make things. You don't just go out and buy things. I made underground caves in my basement before, using sheets of paper and paint, and it doesn't look Lord of the Rings, obviously, but it's pretty cool. And for people on this level, it's like, you did what? You spent $7 to make that entire cave set? It's interesting to see the reactions that people have. Basically, it's possible to do it. And that's,
you know, like people, like you'll hear the expression that, you know, if you can do something, like if you would do it for free, then that would be, you know, the ideal job. But it's like, you know, not only would you do it for free, it's would you spend all of your money and make negative dollars and still do it? Then that's how you know that it would be really great to do. And that's what he does.
all right. Questions? Anybody? Oh wait, hold on.
Just one short. I think the big thing about SC is it's about using your resources. And the main thing is, SC is how Blaise hangs out with his friends. He doesn't so much like going out drinking. He doesn't so much like anything where he has to like act like a normal human being. It's this whole thing is his excuse to live his fantasies, which is fine. But the best thing that he does is he knows if he meets someone, everything that's going, he's probably doing it to all of you right now. He's thinking, can I ask that person to be in my movie? What would I ask them to be in my movie? For example, we met Jeff. Jeff is into makeup and effects. So, you know, the next movie we do, Blaise is bugging him to do the makeup and effects. It's about looking at what the people around you can do, or could potentially do, and getting them to do it. And just make use of what you have around you. And like, to me, that's the best part of SC. Is you take someone who's not confident, give them the confidence to do something, and just give them a space where they're safe. Nobody's going to care. We're just making stupid movies. Maybe a few people see it, maybe loads of people see it, but it's fun! And people will try it out, and then people go on and do other things. And yeah. So we've had, for example, a lot of people, like actors, on their way up, will come and do stuff with us for free because it gives them something to put on their CV, that kind of thing. So it's more giving people an opportunity. So yeah, that's awesome about this. Yeah.
Now, does anybody have any questions? Anybody? Yes, you, the one person with their hand up.
I'm guessing there's somewhere online out of towners can watch your movies, right?
Oh yeah. I should have brought some business cards. If you go back into the building, we're hanging out at a place called Scorpio TV. It's on the very opposite side of the doors you walk in there. It's on the far back wall. And you can buy all our movies and stuff. I got business cards and stuff, so you can come and see me anytime this weekend. And well, it's just sentertainment.org. So if that's easy enough for your brains to handle, that'd be cool. And everything except for that last movie that I'm selling today is available online. Like probably everything I've made in the last 25 years is available to watch in its entirety, which doesn't mean you shouldn't buy my DVDs. Yes, sir.
It's a good job to do while you're doing this.
I'm an assistant teacher at an elementary school, and that's a pretty good job for me. Actually, it's a really good job to because children, like the two parts that I like the most are the horror sci-fi, and then just completely something ridiculous that all children would completely understand. Not all grown-ups, but all children would understand. And they've got such great imagination. So I'm doing that right now. For many, many years, I worked at a print shop, and that was really great and handy because I printed off all my DVD covers and just tons of promotional stuff that people may or may not have in their drawers at home. So that was a great job for this. I don't know, yeah. Anything you can do. It all happens in my spare time.
What do you do during artist block?
Artist block?
Talk to your friends. An example would be the most recent movie that we made. Blaise does this process every single time he writes a movie, which is he goes, I want to write a movie, I've got this brilliant idea. And he's really excited, and then he sits down and tries to write. And he can't. So he calls up me and Terry, and he says, hey, Elaine and Terry, can you write my script for me? And we say, yeah, sure, Blaise, we'll write your script for you. And for example, the last time, we actually sat around a bonfire, because Terry had a lot of wood in his backyard that he needed to burn. And we sat around a bonfire every night, several weekends, and we just kind of brainstormed different ideas. And then, like, with the threat of me and Terry potentially writing his script, Blaise ran off and wrote it really quickly so that he had complete control of it. So yeah, bounce things off your friends is a really good idea.
You mentioned YouTube and crowdsourcing. So Blip.tv, Bevo, YouTube, depending on what content you're producing. But from what I've seen there, I'm curious, where do you get the development stages that you say, okay, well, I do want to make it an open sort of, we'll put it on the web and see if people like it, and then, no, I'm going to sell it as a complete project by itself instead of like an episodic release. Where do you, like, how do you determine the two?
Well, for the last few years, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but like, I've been actually at the Expo. It seems like my new movie's always ready around the beginning of the year. So I always try to sell it as a DVD first, not put it on the internet at all. And then when I go home angry and sad that nobody has bought anything at all after I burned 100 DVDs to bring here, then I'll put it on the internet just so I can get like some personal satisfaction of people saying, you know, you did a really good job. But I don't know if that's the greatest idea in the world, because I think before that I did Space Cow was one of the things I did. I did it episodes of Space Cow, and I released it on multiple internet websites at the same time each episode. And that thing has been watched so much, it's ridiculous, it's embarrassing. Well, not embarrassing, but it's and doing it that way, I definitely got more people interested in it and watching it, at least. And I guess there's ways to, you know, make money from advertising and stuff. I've never done that, but that definitely worked for people, like the episodic thing, instead of just selling it on DVD. In that case.
Like I always find for like you know, movie length things, even if it's like 40 minutes long, all the best like underground stuff that I've seen, I've had because somebody's given me or lent me a copy of something that either they bought from some independent person or they burned a DVD off of, you know, from somebody else's computer who had it. And usually like that's always the best way to get these kind of things. Like when I got one of their movies a couple years ago, like I just lent it to everybody I knew because I thought it was amazing, and you know, then they, you know, would lend it to people, and just got around that way. And I mean, if you're going to make something that's shorter, you know, a website like YouTube would be really great for that. But for, you know, longer things, I always think it's better when it's lent around that way.
Okay, it looks like we're done here. Two last things. I do apply for grants every year. I did get one year, Alberta Foundation for the Arts. So it's always worth trying because you might end up with like, they gave me like $10,000 one year to make a cartoon, and that was like the greatest year of my life. And I hope you found something slightly inspiring about today. Thank you very much.
If anyone has any more questions, we're at the Scorpio TV booth.
Thank you.